This is Ben from PowerWF, and today I want to talk about PowerGUI integration with PowerWF. So here's my PowerWF, here's my PowerGUI, and we're going to run this workflow inside of PowerGUI in context. So the first thing we need to do is we need to import the Power Pack for PowerWF. And so we'll just go to import here, we'll choose the Power Pack. We've installed this in the Interop directory, wherever you installed PowerWF. So just go to that directory and bring in the PowerWF Power Pack. That's a start. Alright, we have the Power Pack installed, which means we can see any workflows that have already been deployed to PowerGUI. We can see all the plugins, all the activities, all the scheduled tasks, and information about the scheduler. Right now we're concerned about deploying workflows to PowerGUI. Now we're going to start with this workflow here. I've already prepared this workflow. This workflow takes in a service name and resolves the running process. We do that pretty simply here. There's our set variable where we pass in, the input from the user telling us what the service name should be, and next we'll do a get WMI object looking for that 132 service where the name of the service matches the service name that was given to us, and then we'll select the process ID out of there and assign that to service PID, and then we say if the service PID is not null, we'll do get process and specify that service PID. Pretty simple, straightforward, but useful workflow. Let's run it here just to see what it looks like. So we have a service name, and I'm going to pass in a service name. I know there's that service name. We'll find out if we can find the process based on that name. And sure enough, the workflow did exactly what we think it's going to do. So let's go ahead and deploy this workflow to PowerGUI. There is a PowerGUI button on the deploy menu bar, and just hit that button and say build. It is now deployed to PowerGUI. So if we go back to PowerGUI, go to workflows, we'll see a get service process workflow. Now of course without that name as input, it's not going to make much sense to run that workflow here. What we really want to do is we want to integrate deeply into PowerGUI. So let's go to our services in PowerGUI and see if we can't make an action that does exactly that. So I'll right click over here and say new script action. And the script action, we'll call it get process or get associated process, whatever you want to call that. And what we need to do is we want to run that workflow. So we'll do start workflow, and we need to pass in the name of the workflow or a partial string. So we'll just do a partial string here, get served. And we need to pass in the name of the service as a parameter. The way we do that is through this hash here, service name equals, and then the service name. In this case, $_.name. And that's it. That should be enough to get us to run that workflow. Now let's go ahead and put that into our own PowerWF category, and we'll make sure we display those results in a nested view. And let's say OK and run the script. Let's see if we can run that command. So picking that first one, get process, and sure enough we have process information for that process. We come back and pick something else, anything else, get process. And there's the process that's associated with that service. That's really good, but let's say that I decided that's kind of complex here. Passing parameters may intimidate you using the hash. There is a simpler way. There's another way to do this. There's another way to skin this cat. So let's come back here, and instead of deploying to PowerGUI, let's deploy to a commandlet. Same exact workflow. All right. And we'll leave the defaults here. Get service process looks like a good noun and verb to me. And when we need to launch that, we'll just build it. Alright, we've built that now. So we should be able to go to the PowerShell libraries and see get service process in the list. There it is, get service process. We just created it. Say OK. And now when we're looking at these properties, instead of doing that, we can do get service process. Here's our service name. If that happens to be less intimidating, then that's the way to go. It'll work exactly the same. There you go. Deep integration, PowerGUI, PowerWF. Thanks for watching, and we'll do some more videos soon.